All right, and we're live. Hey everybody, John Bobrow here. Welcome back to another one of our Blinks live streams. Let's see. I'm just gonna brighten this up. Hey Jonathan, hey Mike, welcome back. Today for our live stream, I first want to start by saying a huge congrats to all of the 2020 Summer Game designers. Last week on Tuesday, we launched 3 new games for the Blinks game system, and all 3 of those games sold equally well. We sold out of 500 games in really just 72 hours. Really quite something. The community showed up, and I can't wait to be hand programming all those Blinks. We've got the stickers arriving this week. Packaging arrives next week, and we'll be shipping in the second week of August. So super excited to release those 2020 summer games. They're so much fun. If you are curious what I mean, go ahead and check out some of our previous live streams. We've got playthroughs, some of the games Jamie and I played through, and then also we've got interviews with a lot of the game designers. So we'll continue to do that. A couple of general updates as well. We've got 2 competitions going right now. If you've already got Blinks, you can be participating by participating in the Sushi Roll Challenge. As I explain a little bit more about Blinks on our live stream today, if you don't know what the Sushi Roll is, you're going to find out. And we've already seen some really fun submissions. I think Ishmael is the Move 38 Sushi Roll champ, but sometimes I give him a run for his money. And then another competition that we're running, so this one's a drawing, which is if you share our posts on social media and tag your friends, sign up to our mailing list, we're going to be giving away a core set of Blinks, and we're going to be doing that weekly. So we want to get as many Blinks out there and people playing them as possible. And so, you know, definitely let your friends and family know. I mean, couldn't be a better time to engage in something that keeps your mind sharp, gives you an excuse to play with people that you're stuck indoors with, and just, yeah, I do have to say that Blinks have definitely been keeping Jamie and I sane and giving us an excuse to laugh and just enjoy a lot of time at home. So today for our live stream, the content is going to be around getting started with Blinks. I realize a lot of people are getting their Blinks for the very first time right now, and we want to make sure that our live streams are giving some details on something you might not just even notice out of the box and getting started. And for those of you that are watching that already have Blinks or making games for Blinks, this might also give you a little bit of insight into some of the thinking about some of the things you might even just take for granted about how you interact with Blinks. So to get started, I'm actually gonna pull out a box that, this is the core set, and we ship these, some of the shipments that go out get some real nice packaging tape. If your shipment arrived like this, there's a coupon code on the outside where if you enter "thank you," you can get a $10 in savings just by being kind and saying thank you. So if your packaging didn't arrive with that on it, you can as well apply that discount at move38.com by typing "thank you." You can get $10 off, and I just feel like it's a good deed to, you know, encourage people thanking each other. So let's see. So I wanted to show a tip and trick with the packaging. Some of our packaging was kind of tight, so you know, everybody's Blinks are arriving nice and safely. But with this, what I'm going to show is if you got one of the nice fit boxes, I'm just going to cut this on both sides. All right, here we go. This is a true unboxing video. if you pop open the top and bottom, it makes it real easy to pop out the blinks. So some of the boxes, we did that so that the box wouldn't get harmed in the process, but this is how the blinks ship. Of course, we have some new smaller packaging, very similar, both really hardy. And so we're going to go through and do a quick unboxing. And actually just realized by the weight of this, I grabbed one without blinks in it. So if you hang there, I'm going to run and grab one of the other sets real quickly. Awesome. Live stream fail. So I'm back. I got our box of blinks. This one even still, we'll see what's inside. So let's go ahead and I'm going to switch to our overhead view. And so the blinks packaging, while we've updated it some, still remains with a lot of the same design thinking. So, no plastic, the inserts are paper. This is just kind of a good way to see everything that comes in the box. We want you to, of course, wear your Blinks Pride with a Blinks sticker on your laptop or iPad, or put it on a hat. The Getting Started Guide and the instructions manuals, these are the original sets, and these are the shipping sets. The new ones are about half the size, so it'll be the exact same content, but a little bit easier to carry around with you and with your set. And then underneath, we have included in each set, there should be 6 blinks in there. We've got a sushi roll case, which I'll use to show the sushi roll challenge. And then there should be 6 blinks here. It looks like this is a set that was pulled apart. So that's everything that comes in the blinks box. But something that you might not notice right off the bat is each of the blinks are ready out of the box to just be turned on. And so the top of the blinks is just kind of this nice soft membrane. It's actually made of a really high quality TPE. It's a thermoplastic elastomer, but it's designed to really be hit and pressed and played with. They're water resistant. They are really well sealed. But the thing that I wanted to show about the being ready to turn on is we wanted to make sure that when blinks ship, you don't have to pull. I'm not sure if you have those products with coin cell batteries in them often have little pull tabs. We didn't want the waste of those plastic pull tabs, and we also wanted the user experience to just be, you get your blinks, you open up the box, and you can just press them and they wake up, they say hello. And you'll also notice on a single blink that there's no other buttons. There's just the top surface that responds to touch. And let me see, I'll take one that will change color every time I press it. It's a berry blink. But there's only one button on the blink. It controls everything about it. And so, when you're designing electronics, oftentimes electronics have on and off buttons. We did a lot of really hard work to make sure that we wanted these objects to feel a lot like a board game piece that you could pull out and just play with, rather than something electronic where you're having to worry about turning them on, turning them off. And so blinks do turn themselves off. They go to sleep. And going to sleep happens after 10 minutes of inactivity. And you can also force sleep by holding down any one of your blinks, and it'll turn all the other ones connected to it off. If you haven't played with your blinks for 10 minutes or so and they're all off, they need to be woken individually by pressing them. So, that's, so your whole interface is just this one button on top. All the games use either that button or rearranging or flicking and the magnets. But the button is the one interface really with the electronics. And so one of the things that we had to figure out real early on was how to load games and do that in a really elegant way. And so the way you load games, I think, is the reason actually why I wanted to go through this is it's one of the first things you want to be able to share with somebody when they get blinks. And so if you're breaking your blinks out of the box for the first time, we found that a lot of people are like, oh wow, they're so beautiful, they feel so great in the hand. But a lot of people weren't even loading games up because they blinks work a little differently than most of the kinds of electronics that exist today. And so the way that you load a blinks game, and I'm just going to use Puzzle 101 here, and I always have some more blinks in my pocket, so I'll break out a few more. Let's see. Oh yeah, and that's a fun animation I was working on. What do you think of this, by the way? A little sort of merging together. We're working on that for another game. All right, so if I want to load up Puzzle 101, I take all my blinks, and they all have to be turned on. If they're not awake, they won't receive the game. So now that I know that all these are awake, I hold down my single blink for 3 seconds, and it only does that when it's alone. So let me cancel that real quickly. If it's together and I hold it down for 3 seconds, not going to do anything. And if I hold it for 6, it's going to send them all to sleep. So first thing I have to do is I have to grab the game I want to play. We figured this was kind of something that enforces you to know which game you're loading. You grab the blink of the game you want to play, you hold it down for 3 seconds alone, and then it looks for neighbors to teach that game. And so, this is something that just nothing else does. So they each find their neighbors and they spread that game. And remember, we're doing this all without an iPhone app. We're doing this just with the blinks. And we're doing it all with one button. And so one of the caveats of having the game load this way, and so now the game's loaded, and we could play a game of Puzzle 101. So one of the caveats, and one of the things that I wanted to share here in getting started, is when you're getting started with blinks, if you're not aware of the fact that when you're holding one alone and holding it down, that you can enter program mode. It's kind of a trade-off. We don't have any games that ask you to hold your blink down alone for more than 2 seconds, and for that reason, because once you hold it at about 3, it goes into program mode. And so this blink is either going to share the game mortals if we reattach it, or after about 10 seconds when it times out, it loads the game it knows. It's forgotten the game that we had taught it before. So if in the middle of the game, let's say Astro, for example, or Puzzle 101, if you hold down one of the pieces, you're thinking with it in that way, and it reverts back to its game, you simply need to reload that game. We found that once you get up and running, and actually feel free to, I'm curious if anybody from the forum, if this has happened while you're playing a game, or oftentimes I've seen it happen where somebody I'm playing with who hasn't played with them before is just getting familiar with the interface, and the buttons are so fun to press and push down on that it's pretty easy for somebody who's a newcomer to blinks to accidentally trigger the program mode. So that's the one thing to be cautious of. Not super damaging, but if you're playing in a longer game and you accidentally enter program mode in one of the blinks, it can be a little bit disruptive to the play. Blink sync. Oh, that's a good term. We should use that term. Maybe we'll start calling it that. So Jeff recommended that we call the programming mode the blink sync. I like that. We haven't used that before. Let's see. Ah, yes. Cool. And so Mike mentions that I should show on our Instagram live stream the other day, was showing techniques for putting them away. So I just showed a little bit about getting started out of the box, so what comes in the box, loading up your first game, being careful not to spread the game, or better yet, being careful not to accidentally spread another game by entering blink sync mode. And so those are all things to get up and running. And what Mike was asking about is a way of putting them away. So this has actually been a common thing we've heard from customers as well. Oh, my blinks accidentally keep turning on. Whenever I put them away, I accidentally turn them on when I'm putting them away in the sushi roll case. And so I'm going to show you here how I like to put away the blinks. And in all honesty, I think it's the best way to put away your blinks. You're getting this straight from the source. So the best way to do it is you first want to put your blinks asleep. So make sure they're all in a cluster, and you hold them down until they just go out like that. You can see the sleeper hold take effect. So once you have all 6 of your blinks that are going into a sushi roll asleep, the first thing I do is I fold it like a sandwich. And so when it's folded like a sandwich, I now have the label art, the game art, on both sides on the outside. Then I kind of take them like double stuffed Oreos, and I just stack them like that. And so now I've got all 6 games with the label art on the outside, and the buttons are on the inside. And what that means is, so now that I can just roll this up, and I've got my sushi roll all ready to take with me. And the best thing about this is that the outside of my sushi roll case doesn't allow the ability, so there's no way that the blinks can turn on accidentally. So I can toss this in my bag, I can throw it in my pocket. Really easy to store this way, and you don't, this ensures that you're not going to lose battery life by them accidentally turning on. A couple of factors that keep them from turning on. One I should note is that because the sushi roll wraps around the outside, we do know that blinks can be woken from their neighbors. So the fact that they're all wrapped around keeps them in the dark, and then the buttons being hidden on the top and bottom. So I'm not sure if anybody else stacks them this way out there. Feel free to comment. Or if you have a different stacking method. For a long time, I had just kind of stacked them with all the buttons facing one way, and then I would turn over the top one. That works equally well for in the sushi roll, but I've just found that the speed, since I just like being able to pull out blinks quickly and then put them away quickly, I just find that this technique, and it's kind of fun, it's almost like stacking poker chips. So that's putting away your blinks. You can, of course, store them back in the box, although I think that I've found most everybody keeps their blinks in the sushi roll cases. I keep a couple on my desk, and there's always, well, like I showed, I pull one out of my pocket at any moment's notice. There's another thing I wanted to show that's just helpful to know if you're a new blinks owner. And so the next thing I wanted to share is changing batteries. So blinks last for roughly 40 hours of gameplay. Depends on what game you're playing. Speed Racer lasts longer than Zenflow. But overall, you get 40 hours of gameplay, which we've found typically lasts us 3 to 6 months of pretty active use. So if you're finding that you're changing batteries a lot more often, definitely reach out to us. We can share some tips. There's also rechargeables that I know some of the Blinks owners are using rechargeable batteries. That's okay too. We built them in a way that they do work with those rechargeable CR 2032s, or I think they're called LIR 2032s. But the one thing that I really like about the non-rechargeables is you don't have to worry about having a charging station or cables with you. They're just ready to go. And every 3 to 6 months, it's not so big of a deal we haven't found it to be that big of a deal for us. So I wanted to show changing a battery. So if I take my Wham Blink, maybe what I'll do is after I do this, I'll play a game of Whack-A-Mole, so you get to see a game played as well. So to change the battery, we want to make sure you could do this without any tools or serious tools. And so the way you do that is the game art right here has a little spot for kind of a thumbnail to go in. But the plastic here, it's essentially bulletproof plastic. It's really durable. We want these things to be able to be thrown around and last for 10, 20, 100 years. And so the thumbnail part, if you have difficulty, if your nails are a little bit too short, or if they're too long, it might be a little difficult. You can always use something like a guitar pick or a credit card, or really just anything you can kind of wedge in between, and this will just kind of pop out. The next thing is the battery is designed so that it's really wedged in there. It doesn't rattle around. We wanted Blinks to feel really solid. And so the battery here is pressed in a really nice way. You can see it's not even coming out even though the back is open. And we want to be careful about this. We figure that little kids will play with these. These batteries, do have hazards for children. So, it's in there really well. It's held in really well. So to get it out, I just do a little tap on the table, and then the battery pops out. And so underneath the battery, you'll see not only our logo and a little debug port in there, but there's a little sticker. And you'll notice that sticker matches the game art. And so the first time that you change your batteries, so let's say 6 months after owning your Blinks, you've played your games, you're ready to change the batteries, you pop your battery out and you go, wait a minute, I just took the game art off of all of my Blinks. How do I know which Blink knows which game? Well, if you're pretty well established with your Blinks, you might recognize, okay, this looks like Whack-A-Mole. This looks like Wham, so I know that. That's one way to know, but that sticker underneath actually matches the game art. So it lets you know which game you're holding even when you take the game art off the back. So that's changing batteries on your Blinks. And we wanted that to be real easy, especially since, I think, 6 Blinks is a great starting place. I'm going to load up Whack-A-Mole on 6 right now. And I think 6 is a really good starting place, but, we know lots of you've got 18 Blinks or 36. I mean, some of you have ordered over 100 Blinks. And so, the changing battery process, you shouldn't have to do it that often. It should be real easy to do. Cool. I see Jonathan West says that he really likes how easy it is to just carry the sushi roll case around, nothing else. Yeah, I feel like every time I'm going somewhere and I feel like iPhone cable is like one of those things that's like, man, I really need to carry a USB cable on me just in case my iPhone runs out of charge. So, all right. So I just loaded up Wham, and I feel like for anybody tuning in for the first time, you might as well see Wham played in the live. So to start this game is essentially whack-a-mole. Double-clicking a piece. Oh, and this is a good thing for me to message. So blinks have that one button, but we've designated that button to mean certain things, kind of like a trackpad has a single click and a double click. And so when you're using your computer and you single click on something, if you click once and then click again, but too slowly, it doesn't register as a double click. And the same is true for blinks. So with blinks, a single click will happen with a kind of quick up-down. A long press will happen after holding for 1.5 seconds. A double click has to happen pretty quickly, so a double click kind of like a mouse or a trackpad. And then there are more clicks as well, triple clicks, quadruple clicks. All of our games stick within the realm of single, double, or triple click. There are some Easter eggs with multiple clicks. So I'm going to go ahead and start the game Whack-A-Mole. So Wham is loaded. You can see that this piece is behaving a little differently than the others. It's because I started it in play and then it ended the game because I lost. So just by connecting it with the others, it already knows, okay, we're all in attract mode. So if I double click one, they all light up and let me know I'm starting. And then I gotta hit them before the timer counts down, and I'll show you what that timer looks like up close. Early in the game, it's nice and slow, so I got lots of time. But later in the game, it gets real fast. And so Wham is like one of my favorite games to just show starting out of the gates. It's super fun. Anybody can play it. I think it's also just kind of like a nice way to stretch out your fingers if you're at the keyboard all day. We found that extreme gamers, esport players, are excited about or are using Wham to train their reaction time with one hand. And so I'm pretty good with my right hand. I think my left hand could use some work. We'll see. And then you can also set home rules of like you have to use only one finger or only 2 fingers, or sometimes we play knuckles out. And so it's such a simple game. It's by far the simplest of the games on blinks. But even just with this one game, there's so much variety and so much playtime that you can get out of it that I think that, oh man, that's real fast. So I think I got, I don't know, that was like maybe 10 rounds through. There's 30 levels to beat Whack-A-Mole. I don't think I could beat that left-handed, even with just 6. And so if you're thinking about getting blinks for your first time, or you're wondering, what can I really do with 6? The 6 games that come with blinks, the 6-pack, they're really designed to be played with having 6. And so you can really get a lot of play value just in the 6, and then start to expand. The Summer Games is designed as for games that you could play with 7 or more blinks. And we're going to be continuing to release new games that work with, more and more blinks. But, the core set games, they just work with 6. They work real well. So let's see. Just checking the... Jonas says his 3-year-old plays Wham whenever I'm visiting friends. Yeah, I feel like I can break out Wham with somebody who's 1 year old. I feel like I can break out Wham with somebody who's 75, and it's so simple, it's so straightforward, and like everybody has fun racing to see how quick the reaction time is, and it's just a fun challenge. And it really also allows you to just kind of like see which ways you can push it. Different arrangements are tougher. And actually, it's not something we have written in the rules or really explain, but WHAM actually, because of the way the moles pop up, different arrangements have different difficulties of mole and more likelihood of moles popping up. So you could also, I bet somebody could probably do a whole paper researching and looking into what are the ways the moles pop up. Can you figure out the patterns? Are there reliable patterns or ways to play with whack-a-mole to see patterns arise? Yeah, so I just wanted to share kind of a quick look into getting started with blinks. And I think also, hopefully, these tools can help all of our blink fanatics to be able to explain blinks to friends and family and share blinks with each other. I think just the feedback we've been receiving has just been so overwhelmingly positive. And I think because blinks are something that are so new, and you know, I often think about, you know, the way like the iPad had to, the iPod had to introduce us to a new way of interacting, and they did it in a really intuitive way, but it was also, you know, handed off to you in a way that you go, oh, okay, a click wheel or a scroll wheel. I know how to spin that thing around and navigate, and it was totally new at the time. But once you got familiar with it, it was real easy. And so I think with blinks, similarly, there's just this little hurdle right in the beginning of just getting familiar with, okay, this is how I interact with them. Every time I break them out, I know how to load a game. I know how to power down a game. My mom still sometimes forgets, and she'll call me up and she'll go, how do I load the game again? And I go, okay, like, you know, so I think it's just a matter of getting in a habit of it, because it doesn't work the same way our other devices work. So those are the things I wanted to cover today. On Thursday, I'm really excited for everybody to tune in. Be sure to share about Thursday. So Thursday, we're going to be on with the Move 38 summer interns, and they're going to be checking in and sharing details on what they've been working on, so definitely tune in for that. The other exciting thing about Thursday is that we're going to be revealing the first winner of our core set giveaway, and also we'll be sharing updates on that sushi roll challenge. If you haven't seen the videos yet or tried for yourself, let me show you right here. So the sushi roll challenge, let's see, I should switch camera angles. Here we go. So sushi roll challenge, you gotta hold your blinks like this so that they're just hanging on with one edge, and then you go, nope. Not as good as Ishmael. All right, I think I can do this. Here we go. The pressure's getting to me. Whew. Can't do it, can't do it. Let's see. Try one more for the third time's a charm, I think is the way this works. Okay, here we go. All right, yeah. Cool. So if you send us a video of you doing the sushi roll challenge, feel free to send us the fails too. Those are some of the most amusing. We'd love to share your videos, give you your 15 minutes of fame with the sushi roll, and just for doing it, we'll send you a special edition orange and black sushi roll case. So yeah, definitely keep those coming in. We're enjoying all the ones we've seen so far. They're just put a big smile on our face. So yeah, I think even just alone, I think being able to carry around your games in the sushi roll, I know all my friends just love being able to break them out like that. So once again, as a reminder, be sure to subscribe down below. I'll be here Tuesdays and Thursdays at 1 p.m. In the coming weeks, we're also going to be having game designers on and sharing more insight and depth, giving focus on our live streams to specific games. So if there's specific games that you're like, oh man, I just don't get Barry, it's not my favorite yet, if Barry's not your favorite game, like, I want to make it your favorite game. So, we're going to be doing more in-depth on the games, sharing strategy. All of the games that we're shipping, we feel so great about, and like there's so much to dig out of each of them. So we're really going to give them the time. And it's so nice to see our regulars here on the live stream. And if you're tuning in later and watching, make sure you subscribe down below. Check the bell so you get the notification when we go live. And join us on Thursday for our core set giveaway. And check out Blinks at move38.com. And I look forward to seeing you on Thursday. So we'll see you soon, everybody.